Hi and welcome to another narration presented by yours truly, Cryptids Roost. Please be so kind as to throat punch the like button and smack the ass of the subscription button as well. And remember to tap the notification bell and then select all. That way you'll receive all notifications each time I upload a new video. Oh, and don't forget to share the video far and wide. This will all help with YouTube's algorithm and will help promote the channel more. And if you're going to leave a dislike, please leave a comment as to why. That way I can review what you didn't like about the video and I can possibly make changes in future videos. Thank you. So grab your coffee, sit back and enjoy the show. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not. I work in a restaurant for cannibals, but I am the only human employee. Part 3, the finale. This fantastic series is written by Darkly Gathers, a wonderful author over on Reddit's NoSleep subreddit. I stare in horror as Helia pulls open the cardboard lid of the box to reveal nothing. One of the sides had become partially disconnected from the hole, and the strip of the deep red carpet is visible from the inside. My eyes dart to the tablecloth beside it. It reaches down almost to the floor, and it rustles. I step to the side at once, drawing Helia's gaze away. "This is just an empty box," she asks, looking up at me. Yeah, exactly. It's just taking up space in the storeroom, so I thought I'd get rid of it." "No, we can use this. Take it back. And then seriously, get yourself home, okay? You've earned it." I force a half smile. "Right. Do you have that limb I asked for, by the way? And the keys to the freezer?" "Oh, no. I bumped into Agaran on the way there, and she knows the layout better than me, where everything is and such. So she offered to go down instead. Thought she might as well. She said she'd take it straight to the kitchen." There is a tense pause. One of the patrons laughs at something on the opposite side of the restaurant. The sound is low and wet. Helia shrugs. "Alright." She points at the box as she turns to take her leave, and I nod in response. And we're in the clear. For now. I allow myself a breath, then squat down to pick it up. "I'll be back for you," I mutter when my face is beside the tablecloth. "Stay here." And I dutifully carry the box back to the storeroom, already racking my brains for a new plan as I do so. My back is slick with sweat and my shirt sticks uncomfortably to my shoulders. I try not to think about either of the table's occupants kicking suddenly out and striking the cowering girl that hides below. "What the hell has gotten into you, John? You'll be lucky if you ever make it out of here alive, let alone with the girl too. I could just leave. I could just walk out and hope that she has the wits to make her own escape. I could choose to forget all about her. I could, and yet I can't." I run my hands through my hair. The game is still in play. I need an excuse to stay. I take one of the empty trays from the nearest shelf and return it into the restaurant. I really need a glass of water or something. I'm starting to feel lightheaded as hell. The couple at the table that hides the girl are, thankfully, nearly finished. I head over, hanging back until the second that the woman has pushed the final chunk of red brown meat into her mouth. Her tongue slithers out and licks her finger clean, along with her wrist and the lower half of her forearm. "Finished up?" I ask, hastily clearing away the items on the table before I can get a response. "Yes," warbles the man, rubbing his belly. The colours of his suit fade steadily in and out across his semi-scale skin. "Delightful feast." He hungrily drinks me in as he speaks. "Anything else I can get you?" I ask, as required, silently praying for a no. "No," the man says, looking at his companion. "I think we're done here. That'll be all." "Right," I reply, I realise I may have been a little hasty with my clean-up and slowed down significantly, pausing, waiting, hovering by the table to see if the disgusting creatures are going to get up and leave. But instead they decide to enter into a conversation. Table items and empty plates in hand, and hovering suspiciously as I am, I have no real choice but to return the items to the kitchen. I really don't know what I'm doing now. Maybe I could hide? Perhaps. Or I insist I want to stay. Help the girl escape when the restaurant is less busy. She's so close to the exit. For now though, if the cannibals currently sitting at her table would kindly fuck off, that would be a good start. I push through into the kitchen. I am hit by the wave of a sticky warmth. A large chunk of unidentifiable meat rotates slowly over the grill, sizzling and dripping heavy globules of grease as it turns. And there stands Agarin, the waitress, holding a plastic shrink-wrapped arm, arguing with Bert, the chef. "What the fuck is this? We need a leg, not a bloody arm, you dumb cunt," he bellows over the counter and into her face. Oh fuck. That's right, the kitchen needed a leg. What did I ask Agarin to retrieve from the freezer? Did you ask her to get a leg or an arm, John? Fuck. I definitely asked her to get an arm. There's a joke in there somewhere. My mind races. You idiot, John, you've fucked up this whole operation right up, haven't you? What are you going to do now? I stand there in the doorway like a moron, tray in hand. The two engaged in the argument have not yet noticed my presence. "Look," said the waitress, her three eyes narrowed in defiance. "I'm just following orders, okay? John said..." "John! Fucking John! Since when did you take orders from that fucking meatbag? You know, there's really no need for you to swear so much, Bert. You're not impressing anyone." "Fuck's sake!" he roars. "If you want something doing..." The veins in the chef's arms bulge as he grinds his teeth, tearing off his apron and striding round the counter, snatching the keys and the plastic wrapped severed arm from Agarin's hands. As he does so, I step quickly to the side and avoid his gaze as he shoves past me, muttering angrily under his breath. I put the tray on the side, ready to be sorted and cleaned, and Agarin makes eye contact with me. She throws out her arms in exasperation. "What the hell, John?" she says. She looks pretty pissed off, to be fair. I wince and mouth a sorry to her. She shakes her head, but to my great relief says nothing further. "Don't mind Bert," says Grummy, putting a heavy hand on the waitress's shoulder. "Actually, Grummy, there was one other thing. Down in the freezer." She glances around, then pauses as if unsure as to whether it's wise to share that information. But she beckons him closer. She mutters something into his ear, and that all too familiar fear makes a swift and unwelcome return to my gut. Oh God. Did she see? Did she notice the missing girl? Already? Did you remember to relock the room you found her in, John? I'm not so sure if I did. Grummy's eyes meet mine, and I feel the colour drain from my face. It's almost like I can see the cogs and gears turning in his head. There's a long and strained pause. The sounds of clattering pots and pans reverberate through the pillars of steam all around. The chef straightens. "John!" he calls from across the kitchen. Another pause. "Yes, Grummy?" I reply. He nods to a dish at the end of the counter. "Hellier may have dismissed you, but this is my kitchen. Take this order out and then you're done for the evening. Table 20. Blood rushes in my ears as I step closer, heart hammering, avoiding his gaze as I take the plate in hand along with the order slip. "Table 20? But Grummy, this says..." "Table 20, John," Grummy growls, and I nod, carrying it out and into the restaurant without another word. Table 20 it is. I've never been good under pressure, as you've probably noticed. This isn't the way I do things. I do what I'm told as neutrally and as dispassionately, but not disrespectfully, as possible. Staying boring, keeping under the radar. It's worked fantastically well so far. And today, well, today I might have screwed all that up. Save the girl. You have to save the girl. You told her to stay put under the table, and she trusts you. You can't abandon her, you won't. You have to save the girl. I try not to think about what my shift is going to be like tomorrow. If I even make it tomorrow, that is. I can't bear it. What's the best case scenario for you here, John? The girl escapes, you get home safely, and what? No one notices she's even missing? It's never mentioned? I snake my way through the restaurant to table 20. It doesn't take long. It's right at the back of the room, by the same wall that holds the kitchen doors. I do my best to hold off the wave of impending panic. Of course they'll notice she's missing. They'll absolutely notice. It's not like they already have noticed. But no one knows you were down there. O'Garen will get the blame. She's the one that went down. Grummy suspects though, doesn't he, John? You saw it in his eyes. He's got his suspicions already. Are suspicions enough? Is that all it'll take? Would Grummy sell you out? He's your mate, sort of. Barely. He's a monster. You saved his job, his reputation. You're a human. He cooks your kind and serves them up on a plate. Every single day. I feel sick. Coming to a stop at table 20, I lower the plates down in front of the patrons. Hell, about time. You expect faster service in a place like this? The closest grumbles, saliva dripping from the corners of her mouth and onto her chest. Her companion snorts and edges forward in her seat. One bulging eye fixes on me, the other swings wildly around and down to the meal before her. 2 portions of cut shoulder, 1 with hot trimmings. I hope you enjoy. I stand up straight and turn to leave, but the creature to my immediate left grabs hold of my arm. Not just a caress or a subtle grope, but a grab. I freeze and stare at her, immediately tensed. Waiter boy, this is not what we ordered. I hear a series of little squelches as all their eyes turn from their meals and fix themselves onto me. The jaw quivers. The other patron snarls with frustration. As I'm sure you know, we get paid a great deal to guarantee our place here tonight, and I have so far been less than impressed with the quality of service. Of course, madam, my apologies. If you could just let go of my arm. She digs her fingers in tighter. I would like to speak to the owner, please. Helia. Madam, I'm afraid that's just not possible. It's rather busy tonight. But I can go and speak with the kitchen to find out what's happened. Have they even started preparing our meals? The other whines, moaning as she rubs a scaled hand across her belly. I'm not sure. It could just be a simple mix-up. If you could just let go of my arm and I can speak with the kitchen. No, if you won't get the owner, then I want to speak with the chef. Bring him out here. As I said, it's a busy one tonight, but I can definitely go and ask him. Bring the chef to me, now. Madam! I steel myself and clench my jaw. Gathering my courage, I stare right into her face, expression cold. Release my arm. There is a strained pause. But to my relief, she does as I say and reluctantly releases her grip, leaving a pale and painful mark in my skin. I'll do what I can, I tell her, picking the plates back up in shaking hands and returning to the kitchen, arm throbbing as I do so. The universe is against me tonight, it would seem. I mull over the shattered remains of my plan. I think I'm just going to tell the girl to make a run for it. I'll act surprised when I see her and claim ignorance. If she's fast, she should be able to make it out to the front doors in time. Maybe I can help her move from the table to get a little closer, improve her chances. It's not a great plan, admittedly, but I'm running out of options. I just want her out to the restaurant. I can't breathe here. My thought process is broken by the sight of Bert, back in the kitchen. He's holding the leg, as requested, and muttering to Grummy. I can't hear what he's saying from here over the clamour, but his gestures are wild. He runs a hand over his bulbous head. The creature looks panicked. Honestly, I have to stop myself from releasing a bitter and self-deprecating sudden laugh. The plan, I feel, could not be going much worse. If Bert has already noticed the missing girl as well, then I really have no choice. I have to get her out now before they conduct a search. Grummy puts a hand out and stops Bert mid-sentence. He looks at me and nods down at the full plates of food I carry in my hands. "What's the issue, John?" he grunts. "They claim this isn't what they ordered, Grummy." I put the plates of steaming meat back on the counter. "They want to talk to you, but I told them that since it was busy, you probably wouldn't." "No," he says to my surprise. "It's fine. I'll go talk to them." Bert starts spluttering, but Grummy simply puts down his knife and points the chef back to the cookers. "Keep things running for me, Bert. I'll be right back." The creature seems irritated to have had his concerns put on hold, but also rather pleased to have been granted this temporary authority. He mutters to himself but returns to work, grunting orders to the other chefs. Grummy puts a heavy hand on my shoulder as we walk back into the main lobby. I wonder if he can feel the layers of sweat that has permeated through the material. "Get back to work for now, John. I'll handle this. Stay sharp." Stay sharp? What the hell is that supposed to mean? Is that a threat? I murmur in response and allow myself a breath as he releases me. He heads off to the right of the problem table, and I turn left to make my return to the one that hides the girl. The occupying patrons are standing up, thank God, pushing their chairs underneath and heading for the door. "Thank you," the female says, and the male nods at me. They loop their arms as they walk the length of the carpet to the entrance, and their eyes squelch as they retract into their heads. I watch as their skin hardens and shifts through a wheel of colours, their camouflage clothes returning, rolls of flesh shivering and creasing to give the impression of folds in the fabric. The female pulls on a pair of gloves and her gnarled four-finger hands are hidden from view. They push on out through the doors, and then the doors beyond and into the evening cold. A little gust of cool wind is blown into the restaurant as they do so. Another couple out to dinner, I think to myself, and the moment passes. I reach for the tip they have left in the centre of the table and accidentally fumble the coins, dropping them to the floor. I quickly and surreptitiously glance around, then crouch to the ground to pick them back up, muttering through the tablecloth as I do so. "They've gone," I whisper, "and we're going to get you out of here, okay?" I lift up the corner of the tablecloth to see the girl huddled tight between the chairs, staring back at me, wide-eyed and shivering. On my signal, you run, okay? I lift the tablecloth a little higher. "You see the entrance?" She nods. "On my signal, you make a break for it, run for the doors as fast as you can and don't stop. Get as far from here as you can, you understand?" She nods again. "Okay, alright." I lower the tablecloth again and stand up straight, taking a step back, heart pounding like crazy. Everything seems to slow right down. I take in the general murmur and chuckling of the cannibals all around, the deep red decor of the restaurant walls and floor, the chomping of jaws and splattering of meat across the tablecloths. I take note of the bustle through the steamy windows to the kitchen at the far end of the room, and I realise that this is it. One way or the other, I have acted against my programming, and am now, for better or for worse, going to have to deal with the consequences. Here we go. I glance down as the tablecloth stirs. The edge lifts up ever so slightly and I see the girl peer out from below, watching me, waiting for the signal. My heart hammers. I clench my fists, and a voice bellows my name from across the restaurant floor. "John!" comes the roar. I turn to stare at its source, as indeed does everyone else. It's Grummy, anger writ across his face, staring right at me. Silence falls. I stare at the chef in surprise. I don't know how to react. I don't know what's happening. "I've had it! You hear me? I've had it with you, you bloody meatbag!" Movement in the corner of my eye draws my attention. Helia strides from one of the adjoining corridors and out into the restaurant. "Grummy," she says, astounded. "What's going on?" Grummy raises an accusatory finger at me from across the restaurant. All the eyes in the room turn to look at me, then flicker right back as the chef continues speaking. "I have had it! I have had it with this incompetent waste of space. If I was given a penny for every time this meatbag screwed up, I'd be able to fucking well retire tomorrow." I'm lost for words. What the hell is he doing? What is he talking about? Helia glances at me. She puts out her hands, laughs awkwardly, and tries to calm the situation down. John is an unconventional employee, as we all well know, but he does his duties. "You haven't seen what I've seen, Helia. The thing is a menace. I want him gone. Do you hear me? Gone. I'm sick and tired of having him in my kitchen, so it's time to decide. It's either him or me." Realization strikes like a bolt of lightning. "Don't you see, John? Don't you see what he's doing? He's playing an act. He's giving you your out. He's going to bring an end to your contract. He's setting you free." I stand there gaping, unsure how to respond. A patron swings up from his seat. It's the Scorpion Man, the one with the fangs and the fly-like eyes. He points the two arms of his closest side right at me. "This human saved my life," he bellows. "I don't care what else he might have done. He's more than earned his place here. You can't fire him. You can't fire him. You can't." The female that grabbed my wrist at table 20 rises in turn. "He's incompetent. What else can you expect from a sack of flesh? Can their kind even read? Get him out!" Chaos takes hold. More of the customers jump to their feet. Chairs are knocked to the floor as the clamour grows in volume. "He's nothing but polite. I couldn't give a damn about his bloody background. It brings down the tone of the restaurant having him here. It's a disgrace. He should be sacked. How am I supposed to focus on my meal when I can see him strutting around, wafting his scent right next to me? It's maddening." Now. The moment is now. Grummy roars again, shouting and gesticulating and drawing much of the attention of the room as he does so. And I look down at the raised edge of the tablecloth before me. I look at the girl. I look into her eyes. "Go," I murmur, and she does. Like a hare, she bursts from the tablecloth and rockets across the room. The red of the apron that covers her is close to the red of the carpet, and amongst the havoc she is not particularly obvious. Not obvious at all. I watch her go with unblinking eyes and jaw clenched tight. I watch her push through the entrance doors, and through the doors beyond, and out and away into the night. And then she is gone. The girl has escaped, and I breathe. But I am not the only one who saw her go. My eyes meet Grummy's. His face passes through a quick, passionate cycle of emotions. Confusion, surprise, indignation, anger, then bitter amusement perhaps, maybe a little guilt. He clenches his jaw, he narrows his eyes. "All right, I think that's quite enough," shouts Helia, her chin's wobbling. Hush returns to the restaurant, and the patrons settle awkwardly back into their seats, and then she turns to me. My eyes leave Grummy's and meet with hers. "John, tell me, how long have you been with us?" "About a year now, ma'am," I reply. She nods. We listen to the wind whistle beyond the walls. "And you've served us well, from my perspective at least. As understood by the terms of our contract, I have been hoping you would continue to work for us for a further few years, but..." She shoots a look over to Grummy. "But I can't lose my head chef, I just can't. So unless you'd care to change your mind, Grummy..." The customers look from me to Helia to Grummy. The tension hangs like a great weight in the air. "Please, mate," I think to him. "Come on, Grummy. Just let this one go. Please, just let this one go." Grummy frowns. Then he sighs and rubs a hand over his head. "I just want him gone, Helia. Get him out of here." I let out a breath. "In that case, John," says Helia bitterly, "your contract is hereby terminated. Thank you for your service." The sign on the door and its copies across the walls of the restaurant collapse at once. They fall from their pins as if knocked by a great force and shatter against the carpet, dissolving instantly into nothing more than piles of dust. I watch as the pupils of every single creature in that restaurant dilate as one. I edge towards the door, taking off my apron as I do so and hanging it over a nearby chair. "I understand," I reply in a shaking voice. I look to Grummy. "I understand." Still facing the room, I back up and out to the door. "Goodbye," I murmur, as the nearest patrons hungrily lick their lips. Saliva bubbles at the edges of their mouths as their lips peel back to reveal rows of grey-green, blood-stained teeth behind. I push out into the cold of the winter's night, and I run. I run the fuck away, and I don't look back. Thus concluded my time as the only human employee of a restaurant for cannibals. And yes, before you say so, I know that they aren't technically cannibals as such. Or do I? Because the creatures I served in that terrible place all had their own unique set of monstrous features. They all shared the bulging eyes and salivating jaws and the semi-scaled skin, but they also shared a myriad of strikingly human qualities, and not just physical ones either. I haven't written off the possibility that they were humans once, or something like them, long ago perhaps. Food for thought, if you pardon the pun. I saw the girl again shortly after my final shift. She was happy to see me. Her name's Erin, by the way. I roughly corroborated the story she gave to the parents and to the police, though I dressed the creatures up as people smugglers rather than flesh-eating monsters. The place was raided within the day, and there was nothing there, just an empty and run-down old building in ruin. Had the restaurant always looked like that to the untrained eye? Was I simply unable to see it for what it truly was? Note that my contract had expired? Or had the restaurant moved on to somewhere else in another city perhaps? I just do not know. I may never know. But as I stand here now on the edge of the street, coat drawn about my shoulders, an empty can of petrol by my feet, I think perhaps that I do not particularly care. As the sun rises on a new morning, I watch the building go up in flames. I watch the fire dance in the windows. I watch the roof collapse in on itself with a burst of thick black smoke. I am free now, yes, but the knowledge of this place of nightmares will haunt me for the rest of my life. I do not know where they acquire the humans for their feasts. I had assumed that they had a farm of sorts, at some hidden location maybe. The girl's swift return to her family in the city, however, threw some doubt over that theory. I wonder why Grummy chose to allow me to leave, why he chose to stay silent when he saw the girl escape. I'm thankful for his decision. Don't get me wrong, but it troubles me that I am no longer able to consider the creatures I interacted with as simply monsters in black and white. They were monsters, of course, and yet, I shake my head. I was around them for far too long indeed. I pick up the empty can of petrol and walk on into the bright and sparkling dawn of the day. There's work to be done. I need to find myself a new job after all. And don't forget, if you enjoyed listening to the story, be sure to pop over to the author's Reddit profile and drop them a line, or even give them a glowing review. I'm sure they would appreciate it. The link to their Reddit profile will be below in the description. And don't forget to check out the merch store. The link will be in the description and also in the video thumbnail. And if you would like an honourable mention, send in a snapshot of yourself with a purchase and I'll feature it in one of the videos. And if you've written a creepypasta story you would like me to narrate, have you had any real life cryptid sightings, paranormal or supernatural encounters? You can submit your stories, encounters or any other mail to cryptidsroost@gmail.com. And if you would like to remain anonymous, that's fine with me. I also have a Facebook group, Twitter, Reddit and Discord. And if you would like to support the channel and help make it grow, my PayPal is paypal.me/cryptidsroost. Again, that will also be below. And don't forget, where fear is, happiness is not.